Hi everyone. Good morning to all of you. My name is Divya Khandelwal. Before we start the show, let me thank you all for supporting me and making high school moms a name to reckon with. I'm a mother of high school student and I started this movement to help millions of moms who want nothing but the best for their kids. On behalf of India's leading parent community, high school moms, I invite all the universities and panelists present here. UK and Ireland offers a great opportunity to study for all the students who are looking for high quality research based undergraduate qualification, and hence we are here today with the leading universities from UK and Ireland. I now invite Mr. Abhishek Gupta to host the event. Mr. Gupta is the recipient of prestigious Times Education Icon. He has counseled over 30,000 students and conducted over 500 workshops, and by far one of the finest career counselors of our country. Mr. Gupta, I request you to moderate today's session for all of us.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you so very much. All right, everybody, good morning once again. Quickly in the chat, give me a big YY. Give me a big YY because that's the only way you can reach out to the heart and soul of our panelists out there. And I want YAY in the caps lock. Do not worry, we are not going to get offended. A big YY in the caps lock because that's the only way your voice is reaching out to these panelists out here. And we have a super phenomenal panel today, ranging across various continents, representing UK and Ireland and the best of UK and Ireland. So thank you so much for motivating our panelists. And just for one time's sake, to all the panelists out there, this is no other panel discussion, but a panel discussion floated by India's leading mothers community. So what you're going to speak is going to resonate really, really well with all the mothers out there who are the final decision maker for a child's career in India. So please be aware that what I want from you is very candid, very truthful, with no nonsense information, which can resonate well with our parents out there. Okay, so let's see who all we have here. And to respect the fact that we have a super phenomenal faculty and a professor with us, I'll start with him. I have Professor Jeremy Simpson, full professor of cell biology from University College Dublin. Jerry has been appointed as full professor in 2008 with University College Dublin. He is a fellow of UCD Conway Institute of Biomolecular and Biomedical Research. Also the Vice Principal International for the UCD College of Science with the responsibility of all international student recruitment, international partnership, and global engagement activities for UCD Science. Welcome to the show, Jeremy. And thank you so very much for joining in early morning. I also have Surbhi Joshi, Jeremy's colleague, Manager South Asia from University College Dublin. Then I have Nilanjana Shin, a very good friend, a super phenomenal human being. And both Surbhi and Nilanjana are also the honorary members of our Global Engagement Committee at High School Moms. So Nilanjana is Senior Recruitment Advisor with Trinity College Dublin, a phenomenal decade experience in international higher education. Then we have Devesh Anand, Country Manager, University of Bristol. Devesh completed his International Business Management from University of Westminster. And Devesh, it is so good to see you again. I have Vatsal Chandra, Regional Recruitment Officer from University of Essex, UK. And finally, I have Alison Witham, Regional Manager South Asia, University of Sheffield, UK. Welcome everybody. Without taking much time, let me quickly invite Jeremy. Jeremy, you are representing University College Dublin. Your 5 minutes start now. Please tell us about UCD.
Thank you, Abhishek. So very good afternoon to you all in India. It's very early morning here in Dublin. I've actually got a little bit of sunshine coming on the side of my face, so things are looking really good today. I'm delighted to be able to speak to high school mums and share a little bit about my thoughts about studying in University College Dublin. Maybe just before I tell you that, I'd like to say maybe I can bring some unique perspective here today. Thank you in the kind introduction. I've got multiple roles for the university. I always like to say that my day job is as a professional scientist, and I'm actually a biologist. And hopefully you all realize with the current pandemic, there's never been a greater need for more biologists and more researchers around the world right now. But in addition to my day job, if you like, I'm also a teacher within the university, and I'm also responsible for international students in the College of Science. So I'm really looking forward to chatting to you today. So as Abhishek has mentioned, I'm here representing University College Dublin. UCD is the largest university in the Republic of Ireland. We're based in Dublin, which is the capital city on the east coast of Ireland. And UCD hosts around about 35,000 students. UCD is a campus university. We're situated in the south part of the city, around about 20 minutes from downtown by bike or by bus. And we sit on a very green, leafy, parkland-style campus that's around about 350 acres in size, so making it pretty much the largest urban campus of any university in Europe. So it's a really great location for students to live and to study. So within the campus, you would find all of the faculty buildings. And again, we're very lucky in UCD to have lots of space, which again, at the moment, with all the social distancing guidelines, has turned out to be very fortunate for us. So the students can really distance very nicely. And within the campus, we have additional facilities, including the sports facilities, our Olympic-size swimming pool. We have a cinema, a theatre on campus. And the campus is host to around about 150 different clubs and societies, both sporting and non-sporting. So it really is a vibrant environment for students to live and to study and to really enjoy their time in Dublin. UCD delivers approximately 80 programs at undergraduate level and around about 350 programs at postgraduate level. And in order to do that, we're divided across 6 colleges or 6 faculties, if you like, that cover all the different strands of interest. So everything from business and commerce through engineering, medicine type degrees, my own faculty in the sciences and computer sciences, as well as humanities and arts. So it's really a very, very broad portfolio of subjects that we have on offer. UCD is all about a holistic education, if you like. So we're really trying to encourage our students to not only come and get a great experience with us and learn a little bit of Irish culture along the way, but actually I think our mantra is really to equip our students for whatever the challenges of the future might hold. And I guess, again, given the current situation and the current pandemic, there's never been a more important time to make sure our students are really well equipped for the future. So I'm really looking forward to interacting with you all today. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Jeremy. And ladies and gentlemen, just some quick facts about Ireland, one of the fastest growing economies in Europe due to the presence of almost 1,200 leading global companies. I don't know, I mean, it's known for ICT, financial services, biomedical engineering, pharma. So you name it that Ireland is the exporter of the best of biomedical equipments and a lot of pharma to the world. And this is the time we are really looking up to Ireland. I also have Nilanjana Shin. Nilanjana, are you there? From Trinity College, Dublin. So if you can tell us a little bit more about Ireland as well as Trinity College, Dublin. Nilanjana, over to you.
Sure, I would want to share my screen, and I'll have to turn the video off as the connectivity is a bit unstable.
Please do that.
So very good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for tuning in on a Sunday afternoon. Since Abhishek has already given a quick overview, so I won't delve more about what Ireland has to offer, other than the fact that you need to give a very good thought of, about the real post-study career outcomes and also the abundance of industry interface which is available through projects, through internships and part-time jobs by virtue of the presence of so many global leaders that are there in Ireland. So I'll quickly jump into Trinity, which is one of the 7 ancient universities of the world. And it was founded in 1592 by Queen Elizabeth I and with the same legal charter as Oxford and Cambridge. And today, we still offer the same quality of superior education. Trinity Trinity has actively built on its tradition of academic excellence, and in our 428th year, we are ranked 101st globally. And also,
Rajni, we hear a lot of disturbance in your microphone.
let me just, is it better now? Is it better now?
Yeah, now it is still better. Yeah.
All right. So going back to the slide, we are among the top 100 for employability of our graduates, and we are also the most entrepreneurial university in Europe for the 5th consecutive year. This is our 47 acres campus right in the heart of Dublin city centre as a part of the Global Innovation Hub. So this will give you an insight into the kind of global presence we have in terms of the companies that we have in Dublin and also across Ireland. This slide showcases E3, which is a multi-million euros initiative at Trinity, which is the first of its kind in the history of Ireland and among the first internationally. As the slide shows, the E3 Research Institute will be located at the heart of Grand Kennel Innovation District in Dublin, which essentially is the Silicon Valley in Europe. Our new facilities are due to be ready by 2021. We have 24 schools across 3 faculties, and we offer 4-year honors degrees in a wide variety of disciplines. For a majority of our programs, we are ranked among the top 100 in the world.
Wow.
Our Faculty of Arts and Humanities is the largest faculty with 12 schools, and we offer single honors degrees, which are listed here in white, and also joint honors programs marked in yellow in subjects ranging from English, history, economics, political science, mathematics, to drama studies, film studies, music, modern languages, philosophy, and sociology. We also have 2 very popular broad-based programs that are on the lines of liberal education. One is BES here, which is Business, Economic, and Social Studies, and the other is PPES, which is Philosophy, Political Science, Economics, and Sociology. Our School of Computer Science is among the top 100 in the world and is a major center of Science Foundation in Ireland, hosting state-of-the-art research facilities called Adapt and Connect, which are housed within our School of Computer Science. We also offer, this is about our engineering. So our 178 years old School of Engineering is also among the top 150 in the world. And for both computer science and engineering, we also offer 5-year integrated master degrees. And these are only specific to engineering and computer science. And these degrees will include a 6-month paid internship component. Trinity has an ideas workspace called Tangent. And within Tangent is Launchbox, which is a student startup accelerator program, helping students to grow their ideas and secure investment funding. To contextualize, in 2019 alone, Launchbox secured over 4 billion euros in investment capital, which is a phenomenal amount of money. So Trinity will be able to help you. If you have a business idea, Tangent and Trinity as a whole can help you develop it into something that could shape a better world. Trinity graduates have an unmatched track record of tech startups, and this slide includes some examples of those. This is the image that sums up an undergraduate science journey at Trinity. Our science programs are the result of the vision of our alumni, Professor William Campbell, who won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2015. Students can enter one of the 4 science streams that we offer. Global Business is by far the most popular program for Indian students at Trinity, which is a core business program spanning the full spectrum of international business. Trinity has an active collaboration with Columbia University, through which students spend their first 2 years studying in Trinity and their final 2 in Columbia University, New York, and they get their degrees from both universities. These are the subject areas covered under the dual program with Columbia. We have over 300 collaborations with top universities throughout the world where students can choose to study 1 semester or a full 3rd year of their program. Our general entry requirements are a minimum of 80% aggregate. For IB, the overall points required range between 32 to 37 depending on the program. And for A-levels, we need 4 A2 or best 3 A2 plus 1 AS. Additionally, programs like science, computer science, engineering, and business will have subject-specific requirements. We have one intake in September, and applications commence on 1st October of the previous year. This year, our applications will open on 1st November, as our 2020 intake was pushed by 4 weeks.
30
All
seconds, Nilanjana.
Yep. All applications are online through the course page on our website, and we have conditional offers which are issued on the basis of predicted grades and 2 academic LORs. Our fees range from 19,000 for all programs in Faculty of Arts and Humanities and 26,000 euros for all programs which are lab-based STEM programs. We offer a small number of partial one-time scholarships of 5,000 euros, which are merit-based, for which the students can apply after they have received an offer from us. And for E3 programs that are engineering and sciences, we offer dedicated scholarships of 4,000 euros per year. This is specific to the E3 programs. And I hope I have stuck to my time limit. So this is my contact detail. In case you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Nilanjana. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, these were two best of the best universities from Ireland talking to you. And I'll request the UniReps to keep on putting their email IDs in the chat so that people can make a note of it. And if they need to touch base with you, they can touch base with you. For all the attendees out there, we will be circulating a form by which you can show your interest to the relevant university. You can tell us which university do you want to get in touch with. And we will arrange for a small core group discussion a week down the line, maybe 10 days down the line, with that respective university rep, with the students who are wholly and solely interested in applying or knowing more about that particular university. Now from Ireland, let's go to UK, 6th largest economy in the world, home to Rolls-Royce. All right, so Vatsal, what do we have from you from University of Essex? 5 minutes.
Thank you, Abhishek, and thank you for Divya for having me here. And good morning to all the fellow panelists, and good morning to the teachers and parents and counselors and students and everyone from India who has joined in. And I also saw that there's someone who's joined in from Israel as well. So welcome and thank you for being a part of this session. My name is Vatsal Chandra and I am the regional officer for University of Essex. I am your point of contact in India for the university, and just to take you through the university in terms of our location, Essex is located just 45 minutes outside of central London. We have 3 campuses, and one of them is in London, which is our acting school, and then 2 other campuses, both located just 45 minutes away from central London. We have a range of courses that we offer, starting from hotel management and hospitality, all the way to acting, marine biology, data science, robotics, computer science, economics, social sciences, etc. What Essex has done over the years is that, having been a modern university, we have been able to be quite flexible and quite accommodating to the demands of the students and the economy, and because of which we have a lot of various courses that are quite student friendly and quite flexible in their approach. So we are a university which offers liberal arts, that also offers a major minor combination as well, or a joint major combination as well in subjects like economics and psychology, or journalism and business management, or even an economics and a data science program, because we understand that there are skills that you need in a post-COVID world that are slightly more important than some other skills, and you need to be able to apply those skills to certain to all different kinds of areas, irrespective of whether you're a humanities student or a science student or a biology student. Quickly, just to share my screen as well, to give you an idea of where Essex is and what Essex looks like. So I hope you can see my screen. A very quick idea of how our campus looks like. So our main campus is Colchester right here. It is a 250-acre campus and is home to a majority of our students. We have guaranteed on-campus accommodation available for international students, and we are also home to the only and the first four-star hotel on campus, which is home to our hospitality school as well. Colchester campus is also home to the UK Data Archives and several other facilities and labs like a robotic lab or a gaming lab that really helps our students apply their practical knowledge. As Divya said in the beginning, that we are here offering not just taught, but also research-based undergrad programs, and Essex focuses heavily on research as well. We have been the University of the Year in 2018. We are gold rated in Teaching Excellence Framework, which is the highest academic honor that a UK university can achieve. And we are top 15 for student satisfaction. So I am right here to answer all your queries, and I'll be happy to guide you through the application process later if you're more interested. So thank you for your time, and I hope to hear more from you.
All right. Thank you, Vatsal. Thank you so very much. So ladies and gentlemen, that's Vatsal Chandra, Regional Recruitment Officer from University of Essex. Again, for your information, a form is circulated in the chat for those of you who are interested in directly reaching out to the respective university, or if you are interested in hearing more from them, please go ahead and fill the form, and we'll be happy to host a small group interaction again virtually, where you can directly interact with the university rep. Over to Devesh Anand, a very good friend, a super awesome individual. Devesh is country manager for University of Bristol, UK. Devesh, what do we have? And my request to you is 5 minutes is 5 minutes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Abhishek. And thank you for organizing this session, Divya, as well. And thank you all of you for joining on this Saturday afternoon to listen to us. And we are really happy to be here to share the information with you. Now, I'm Devesh and I represent the University of Bristol, and I'll just quickly share a screen with you as well. Now, with regards to the university, it is, of course, a very old university. It was established in 1846, and that's the legacy of the university that Bristol is. In terms of our location, this is where we are. So we are in the southwest of England. We are about 2 hours away from London by road and about an hour and a half by train. It has its own airport and very frequent flights to the rest of Europe. So once you're here, you can travel around as well. The city of Bristol itself is a very, very prominent city. It's a city which is doing really well for itself. It's a hub of business and it's generating a lot of income, which is able to give back to the government as well. Talking about the city, it is an economic powerhouse. It has 5 big industrial conglomerations that are able to generate a lot of income for the city. The biggest one being the manufacturing industry, where we have companies like Airbus, Rolls-Royce, Augusta-Westland, BAE Systems, GE Aviation. All of these have their major manufacturing hubs here, wherein they're not only building aircrafts and automotives, but they're also building components for spacecrafts now as well. Similarly, in the tech field, we are counted as one of the top cities in the entire world for having a conglomeration of microchip, robotic, and software companies, including companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, and as well as Google, Oracle, Microsoft. All of these are here. Now, the university has very strong ties with all of these industries, and the way it can impact the student is that we inculcate all of those industrial inputs into the programs as well. Now, with regards to the recent things that have been happening in the UK itself, and specifically in Bristol, even during the lockdown, the university has set up something called as the Southwest Digital Media Hub called My World. Now, My World is a conglomeration, which is a collaboration between Netflix, Google, as well as Microsoft. And they have invested a funding of £46 million into the My World institution that we've created. And that is a media powerhouse, as well as looking at digital media, as well as digital solutions to business problems. So that's the biggest thing that happened to us during the lockdown period. And again, Bristol also is an innovative hub. We have something called a Set Squared. Set Squared is the biggest incubator cell in the entire world for university startups. And that's again at Bristol. And it's been named as the hottest accelerator in the Europe Awards as well. And also, we do get concerns from parents about, the thing that STEM subjects, the students get it much easier to get the jobs, find it very easy to integrate into the industry. What about students who are studying liberal arts or studying programs related to international relations or, gender studies? Again, you can see that our department in social enterprise is also very active. And recently, they've been named the Deal of the Year wherein they've been awarded £1 million to go ahead and look at research related to domestic abuse that started happening during the lockdown phase. This award of £1 million has been given to the company set up by one of our faculty and one of our students together. And now they're including their research to enhance the research. That funding has been given to them. So it's a way that whatever your interest is in a subject area, you will find a way to excel in the UK. In terms of the city, like I've mentioned, it is a beautiful city, but it's also been voted as the kindest city, the coolest city, the best city for student life. So it has a lot of awards. And with regards to the university, it of course is a legacy university. It's one of the first 6 universities to be set up in the UK. It's an original red brick university. And with regards to our reputation, we have 30 Nobel laureates that are associated with the university, including our current chancellor, who's Sir Paul Nurse, who's a Nobel laureate in the field of chemistry. So that's the kind of faculty that the students study from, and you get to engage with them for their research as well. In terms of our ranking, we are ranked as number 49 in the world as part of the QS 2020 World Ranking. So we're a World Top 50 university. Within the UK, we are always in the top 10, depending on different rankings. And the most recent Guardian ranking has also placed our engineering, general engineering, as number 1 in the UK as well. So it's a very strong university for different subject area. And 35 of our subjects are amongst the top 100. The faculties are about 6 faculties, which cover all subject areas. And just to give you a view of what the university looks like, so this is the entire university campus. And the key thing with us is that we are a city university, so we're just 10 minutes away from the city center. And that opens up a lot of avenues for students to go ahead and get part-time work, as well as get industrial projects as part of their studies. One thing that we do differently is we enable industrial mentoring for every student of ours, so that they get industry mentors in the industry and get relevant work experience, which is very, very important for an international student in an international setting to have a work linked to the course that they're studying. Now, these are just the kind of companies that we have a tie-up with, ranging from KPMG, Rolls-Royce, Ernst & Young, and others. And just to give you an idea of what our students get up to, they've worked with Formula One, they worked with Rolls-Royce, and now one of our students from India, Abhishek, is also working with Gravity Industries to go ahead and set up a jetpack suit through which you can do individual flying. And this idea came from an idea of students seeing the Iron Man movie, and they said, why don't we build an Iron Man suit as well? So we teamed them up with a company called Gravity that was working on that domain, and this is what they've come up with. So it's a huge industrial input. In terms of scholarships, we do give out very big scholarships as well. We have a award of ranging from £5,000 to £10,000 annually that is given out to students as well. So that was a brief cap of the University of Bristol. And just to let you know what the UK government is doing in order to go ahead and revive the economy, we have a lot of questions from people asking about the economic slowdown and whether they would get a return on investment of studying in the UK. So that's the pledge the UK government has taken, that they're investing £30 billion into the UK government, into the economy to go ahead and revive the economy. And the key thing there is that about £2 billion of that money is set aside for young people coming into the workforce for the first time. So that's recent students graduating, coming into the workforce. So that's the kind of support given by the government and the university, and it's a wonderful future that you can expect in the UK. So that was me, and if you have any questions about the university, do feel free to get in touch with me anytime.
Thank you so much, Devesh. And ladies and gentlemen, just for your information, you can keep on popping questions for Devesh and Vatsal, because we are catching up for lunch just in the midweek next week. So I can definitely ask them and put them into the back foot. So now we have Alison with him. Regional Manager South Asia, University of Sheffield. Alison, your 5 minutes starts now.
Great, thank you. Hi everybody, thank you for having me here today. Very exciting opportunity to speak to you all. So I'm just going to speak to you a bit about the University of Sheffield. So the University of Sheffield, we are a top 100 university on the QS World Rankings as well. We are a member of the Russell Group of leading UK universities. At undergraduate level, we have a range of different courses. I think there's over 300 in total. So we have courses in arts and humanities, medicine, science, social science, which includes our business and management school. And we have a top law school as well, which is registered on the Bar and Council of India. And we have a fantastic engineering department. And we have a lot of students from India come to study engineering with us because of our fantastic facilities in that area as well. So as
sorry to cut you short, but you have like 3,500 Indian students, is that correct?
We have around 300 with us currently. We have over 8,000 international students in total.
International students. All right.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So we have over 8,000 international students in total. So we are a very international university. We take pride in that. We welcome our international students greatly. But from India currently, around about 300, hoping for more as well. So again, we are also dedicated to building employability. So all our courses, one of the main factors in each course is to build that, install in our students the employability factor. So our students leave employable ready. So we are dedicating more services into our career development team because of the announcement of the graduate immigration route visa, which all students can take advantage of from 2021. So we are dedicating more services in our career team. The University of Sheffield also has links with top employers like Rolls-Royce, for example, big pharmaceutical companies like Boots as well. And we have many opportunities for students to gain work placements, volunteer opportunities as well. You can work on a student visa for up to 20 hours a week. So we do help students find internship jobs alongside their studies. And I've seen a lot of questions about scholarships as well. So I wanted to mention that the University of Sheffield, we're very proud to offer a fantastic scholarship opportunity for students from India. You do have to apply after applying to the University of Sheffield, but we offer 50% scholarships for top academic achievers. So that's a fantastic scholarship offering. And we have every year we have between 10 and 20 students from India get that scholarship, so it's a fantastic opportunity. So Sheffield is a city, and we are actually the 4th largest city in the UK. So sometimes it's not well known in India, but we are a very big city, and it's also it is the only city in the UK that has a national park in its boundary. So for any of those students that are interested in the outdoors, outdoor pursuits, outdoor activities, Sheffield is a very good choice for those students as well. So we are the 4th largest city. We are a very affordable city as well, so the cost of living in Sheffield is relatively low compared to a lot of other big cities in the UK. And we also have over 300 different clubs and societies for students to join outside of their academic criteria as well. So we have a very active Indian student society, and we also have obviously the sports clubs that students can join, and also activities outside of sports as well. All our international students are guaranteed accommodation in our halls of residence as well. We are a city campus as well, so we are also about 10 minutes walk away from the main city centre. Our course entry requirements range from 32 IB points to 38, depending on the course. So obviously medicine and some of our computer science, for example, is the higher entry requirements. The cost of the course, so our course costs range from 16,000 to 25,000 at undergraduate. Obviously our medical programs are a lot more, and it depends on the laboratory equipment, obviously, that the students will be using. But hopefully I stuck to 5 minutes there, but that's just in a nutshell about the University of Sheffield. Thank you.
Super awesome. So ladies and gentlemen, these are 5 universities: University College Dublin, Trinity College Dublin, University of Bristol, University of Essex, and University of Sheffield, talking to you live on High School Moms platform. Just one more time, we are still holding on to 450 odd on the Zoom, and almost 2,346 is my figure across Facebook. So just one more time, give me a big YY in the chat so that I can start popping the right questions to these individuals. Give me a big YY. Tell me that you are awake. This is that time of the week where you sit down with your family, with your kids, listen to the best of the universities so that you can take a very, very calculative call which university is best suited for your child to go and make a career with. All right. So my question to the lady who hasn't talked so far, Surbhi. My first question to you is, so to all the panelists, you will get 2 questions back to back. So please be ready for that. Surbhi, Ireland definitely offers a great opportunity for a undergrad kid to come and study. We know the kind of economic prowess Ireland has, specifically Dublin. We understand the kind of industries which are located around Dublin. Help me understand what are the 3 really futuristic courses that UCD has to offer. So do you have something in computer science? Do you have something in psychology? Do you have something in business? Because these are 3 so-called very, very futuristic domains for the kids to look at.
Yeah, Abhishek, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining this session. I can see there are thousands of students and parents and counselor community who has joined. I'm really happy to represent UCD, and I would like to talk a little bit more about the courses. Definitely, we have all these courses with us. So one of the reason I have asked Professor Jeremy Simpson to come here today was because of our science program, which actually offers more than 20 different areas of studies. So be it cell biology, genetics, these are the future growth areas, especially after the pandemic. Now, talking about psychology, we do have a psychology program which has 4 years and 3 years study options available. We have computer science, and computer science is actually one of our flagship programs. We have almost 100% placement, though we do not call it placement, or we do not guarantee the placement. However, Ireland is, and UCD is, such kind of a product which gives you results in terms of getting placed with these kind of companies, you name it. And we have students working in Google, Microsoft, Apple, Novartis. These are the kind of organizations where our students are working in. So yes, Abhishek, to answer your questions, we do have these futuristic programs available with us, wherein in next 10 years, the kind of careers which are coming up, these are the programs wherein students would find opportunities, be it area of research or academics, or getting into work opportunities.
Super awesome, Surbhi. Thank you so very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we already have received about 120 clicks on the form. The forms have been filled for the people who want to receive more information from you. My question to Jeremy is, Jeremy, you have such a phenomenal record in terms of research. You're a faculty yourself. Can you help people understand, because this is that time of the year where in India, we have a common entrance exam to become a doctor. It's called NEET. And we have just been through the NEET. And there are so many students out there who would possibly not be able to become a doctor per se, but are not aware of what kind of opportunities already lie in front of them, even when they do not become a doctor. So these opportunities could be through the field of biology or through the field of bioengineering or biomedical sciences. You being the faculty and you being a prof, why don't we hear it from you? What can a student expect at UCD if he or she chooses a biology major?
No, that's a really good question, Abhishek, and it is something that I'm asked about a lot, particularly when I'm traveling. So I think it's a good opportunity for me to give a little bit of perspective to this. And the easiest way, I guess, to think about this is, if any of you ever go to the doctor or to the hospital and you're unwell and you're given some medicine, a tablet or something like that, ask yourself the question of where that tablet or where that drug actually came from. Who was the person who designed it? Who was the person that thought about solving that problem to actually help you with that disease or that infection? And if you think about that question, actually the answer is it's actually not the doctor, it's not the physician who is responsible for that. It's actually the research scientist. And it's actually science in the background that is actually effectively out there trying to solve all of these problems. And again, with the COVID situation, right now, that absolutely underlines the importance of biomedical research and scientific research if we're really going to understand this particular virus and ultimately to be able to develop medicines against it and ultimately, of course, a vaccine. So, as I mentioned in my kind of opening comments, You know, while the pandemic has been a really challenging time for so many people around the planet, I think in a way it represents, you know, a really exciting opportunity to put science and research really at the center stage, and to underline the importance of actually training the next generation of research scientists. Because yes, this pandemic has come, this pandemic will go, but there will be future challenges like that, you know, in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the line. So the way we approach kind of this problem in UCD is that we have a very large science faculty, and as my colleague Surabhi has mentioned, at undergraduate level, we use a single entry code into science that gives actually access to 22 different undergraduate degrees. Wow. And out of these 22 degrees, these covers the biologies, the physics, the chemistry, and the mathematics. And what we do in that first year of the degree is we let students have a taste across all of those different scientific areas. And we think that's really important, because what we want is we want our young people to get a sense of where their future lies, what excites them within the sciences, that they ultimately then can choose the right track, rather than making that decision too early. So of course, if we take the biologies as an example, in UCD, we've got 10 different biology degrees, if you like, including things like molecular biology, genetics, neuroscience. And the idea here is that, of course, we get students going down the particular track that they're interested in. They get to interact with the faculty, people like myself, and they really get a taste of what the cutting edge, you know, scientific research is that'll hopefully inspire them to be the next generation of scientists. Final comment really is that, you know, what is a scientist? Well, a scientist is a problem solver. That's how we describe ourselves. That's what I go to work every day to do, to solve problems in the biomedical sciences. And while I'm getting a little bit old now, I am totally now reliant on all the young people, the next generation of scientists come through, who are going to solve all the next set of problems that the world is undoubtedly going to encounter. So really, really great opportunities right now, I think.
Wow. And just for our understanding, because India, majority of the students have this question, because for us, when we go for a biology major or a medicine course, the students do not need to opt for mathematics in their high school, which is year 11 and year 12. Do we require mathematics to study biology or any field related to biological sciences at UCD?
Yes, we do. And it's actually, that's also a really important point to make. And that sometimes comes as a bit of a surprise. Why do we need mathematics to study biology? Well, actually, biology in the time that I've been doing biology over the last 20 or so years has changed phenomenally. Actually, biology is an incredibly quantitative subject. We deal with huge data sets every day in our biological experiments. So while we're maybe not expecting our students to come in with amazing mathematics ability, they do have to have a sound foundation in mathematics, because actually mathematics underpins all of the sciences. So again, my message out there for maybe, you know, any families or young people who are thinking now about their subject choices as they're going into 11th or 12th standard is, you know, please make sure you keep mathematics open. You might find it a little bit tough, but it really will ensure that you have the very broadest possibility of subjects when you come to make your choice to applying for university. So I strongly encourage everybody to keep up with their mathematics. It's important in all scientific disciplines, including biology.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Please hold tight. I'll come back to you with more questions. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Jeremy Simpson, Professor Jeremy Simpson, full professor for cell biology at University College Dublin, 160-year-old institution. And one amazing fact about UCD is that 5th president of our country, V.V. Giri, was completed his part of his course at UCD. So that's an amazing fact. Before now, Nilanjana, if you are there, if I can have you on the camera. So ladies and gentlemen, that's Nilanjana Shin from Trinity College Dublin, 92nd in the global employability ranking, tie-ups with Columbia University, New York, an amazing university to go and look up to study. Nilanjana, give me 3 or 4 courses that you really would like to talk about with the students and the parents listening to you today.
All right. So I would take a different stance to it rather than, you know, showcasing 2 or 3 programs. I would think, like I've already mentioned, you know, that we are among the top 100 for most of the programs. And Trinity is all about, you know, education. And also what I would say is that when students decide, to go overseas for their higher education, they automatically sign up for stepping outside of their comfort zone. And that decision itself is the foundation of building adaptability, building flexibility into their career plans, which in turn prepares them to overcome any challenge that might come up in the long term. I know it may not relate to the direct question that you have put me, but yes, this is at the back of everyone's mind, what happens in the post-COVID scenario. So I would want to say that if we look at it objectively, the post-COVID era would not be the first time that the job market will be different. It will not be the first time that the economy would have changed, regardless of whether or not there is another pandemic like this one in our lifetimes. Something or the other is going to happen that will change the game again and again and again. But like all challenges and like all changes, this crisis has also brought about its own set of lessons. And one key learning is to expect and to be as prepared as possible for the unexpected. And the best way to do it is through innovation and research. So at Trinity, these are the elements that are inherent to our way of education, irrespective of the discipline. It is specific to our way of teaching as well as learning. So for example, a capstone project is a core component of each of our programs, whether it is undergraduate or postgraduate. And this project is directly linked to a real industry or research project. And it provides our students the opportunity to put into personal practice the knowledge and skills that they will acquire throughout their study program. And this capstone project also determines students' career path in terms of the kind of employers, the job profiles, and also their starting salaries. In addition, we cannot overemphasize the importance of transferable skills like critical thinking, like problem solving, analytical reasoning, independent research, presentation, communication skills. So throughout their time at Trinity, irrespective of the students, the course that they may choose, we help our students to develop a range of key graduate attributes that will enable them to build and maintain career readiness and employability, irrespective of the market dynamics or the challenges. That is the message that I would want to give. And I would encourage the students to go over to our website, go through our prospectus. Our undergraduate prospectus is extremely comprehensive. There is a dedicated section for graduate skills and career opportunities, which should help make up their mind as to what they would want to do. And this is what we would expect from our students.
Wow, wonderful. So just help me understand about this 5-year integrated course that you have in engineering. How does it work? Because we are not used to the 5-year integrated course, right? We are used to a 4-year program in engineering. Does that 5-year integrated course leads to a master? Can a student look at doing both bachelor's plus master's together? If you can just quickly help us with that.
Sure. So the 5-year integrated route applies to both computer science as well as engineering. Students do not decide upfront. For all our programs, there are 4-year degrees, and the first 2 years are the fundamentals of the subject. For engineering particularly, we call it the common entry engineering, where the students spend the first 2 years delving into the basics of engineering, and then they choose their specialization, and we offer 6 specializations. So they move into their specialization from year 3 onwards. And at the end of year 3, they decide whether they would want to take the 4-year route or the 5-year route. If they take the 4-year route, then it is a fully taught program and they get an honors degree. If they choose the integrated route, then the 4th year is split between 1 semester at Trinity and 1 semester as a part of a 6-month paid internship. And then they come back to the university for their 5th year, and they get a master's degree and a 2-year stay back option in Ireland instead of the 1 year that students get after a bachelor degree.
All right. So generally, a student can stay for 1 more year after the bachelor's and work. And if they do this integrated program, they are allowed to stay back for 2 years, right? Awesome. Super
But
awesome.
1 year and 2 years are essentially the job search visa. They have to find the job within that. And once they find a job, then it gets converted to a work permit.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are still holding on to almost 400, 1 year down the line, 1 hour into the session. And we still have about 2,650. 2,650 is the figure on Facebook listening to you. Going to Vatsal, University of Essex. Vatsal,
yes,
liberal education is something where I can allow my child to study what he or she wants to study, right? So there is this concept in liberal arts and liberal education that you can pick up a major and a minor. So you can pick up a major in economics, minor in psychology, or maybe double majors. Does University of Essex allow something like that? If you can just take us through, what is the program structure at University of Essex? Does it include major and minor, or is it just a super specialization?
So it's both. And I think it's important to have a little bit of flexibility in that area as well. Uh, Although most of the courses are specialized courses, but there are certain skills that we have recognized that we can combine together. So although you will not find an erratic combination of robotics and painting available at the university, but you will definitely find joint honors programs or a major minor structure, which is actually nomenclatured as an and or with bachelor's degree. So what students can actually opt for is a program, let's say that of an economics and psychology, like you mentioned, or an economics and data science program. We can offer students courses in political science and philosophy and economics. There are, under our journalism school, students can do various sorts of journalism, from pure multimedia journalism to journalism and business, journalism and sociology, journalism and criminology. So we understand that there are certain skills that need some kind of specialization or perhaps backing with them. So with a journalism and business degree, someone can go on to write for a Financial Times. So that kind of support and that kind of structure, I think, is very is something which is required in today's age. That slightly varied skill set where you back or you combine a skill with an academic knowledge of a certain subject.
Wow. Okay. So, and also, what are the popular career domains that or career choices which an Essex alumni picks up? Can you just take us through with that?
So, in terms of the career choices that Essex alums have picked up, over the years. So, I don't know a lot of you if you're aware of this app called Dine Out. So that was started by an Essex Indian alum. We have had quite a few Nobel laureates from our economics department. Sir Chris Pissarides has been there, who has who won the Nobel Prize in economics for his work in cryptocurrency. We've had quite a few students. For example, John Burko. I mean, I wouldn't call him a student because he is a very, very senior member and was the Speaker of the House of Commons in the British Parliament. We've had Ms. Sharmeen Chaudhary, who actually is the first and the only female speaker at the Parliament of Bangladesh. So, various domains, and these are some alums who've been through, who have kind of enriched our heritage. But at the same time, we have students, Indian students, who are working in the domain of agro-tech, who are developing apps which have helped in terms of food tracking in the COVID times as well. So may it be back, 30, 40 years ago, or now, we are constantly developing and recreating and putting out students there in the world who are creating a change.
Wow, super. Okay, going to Devesh, University of Bristol. Devesh, I see you answering a lot of questions in the Q&A and in the chat. So to all the panelists, there are over 200 questions in the Q&A. If you can answer for your university, it'll just help while the others are talking. Devesh, quickly, what are the entry requirements to apply to University of Bristol?
So at Bristol, we look at for example, if I take CBSE and ISC as a benchmark, we will look at 85 to 90% overall in terms of generally all of our requirements. Some programs like medicine, engineering, and others, in fact, even for law, we would look at 90% overall. Some programs can also have individual mark requirements, like if a student is looking at studying finance or accounting, they need to have maths in their 12th and get a minimum 85% in that. And also if you're looking at studying engineering, you need to have one science subject. Similarly for psychology, we need one science subject. But the good thing is that in the UK, we consider maths and psychology as science subjects. So even if you're doing a liberal arts program or a commerce-based program in your 12th, and you have psychology as a subject, you will still be eligible to apply for a program in psychology.
Super. And why don't you tell us what kind of scholarships does the university offer for the candidates who are willing to apply?
Sure. So with regards to scholarships, it's spread across the board. We have different kind of scholarships available. The first one and the biggest one is, of course, our Think Big scholarship that we run every year. The scholarship is a big amount. It ranges from £5,000 annual scholarship to goes up to about £10,000 annual scholarship, which is roughly about 25 to 50% of your tuition fees. And what we do is we do not consider a student's academics for that scholarship. We ask them 3 questions, and questions are based on social impact. So we will ask you questions around how are you engaged with your local community? And after you study with us, how will you further impact that community? So those students who give us good answers to that are the ones who get selected for that scholarship. Now, apart from that, we also have scholarships which are based on extracurricular activities. So if you're excelling in sports, music, or dramatics, you can apply for that scholarship as well. In addition to that, sometimes we also have program-specific scholarships, which are based on academics. So last year we had a law school gave scholarship, we had accounting and finance. So all of these give scholarship out to our students. Now, apart from the university-specific scholarships, there are other avenues available to Indian students as well. You have the government funding available. So do look at the MHRD website. You will get information about the central scholarships as well as state-specific scholarships that you can apply for. And then also we have collaborations like with the British Council, who gives scholarship to students. And then we also have industry collaboration, like we have a tie-up with Tata in India. And Tata sponsors 3 of our students every year with a 50 to 100% tuition fee waiver. So a lot of these options available. And students, the key thing for you would be to apply early, especially if you're looking at applying to UK, apply early. We look at 1 year in advance. So application for September 2021 is open already. And if you're looking at applying, getting an offer, and then you have the entire year to apply for every scholarship that you're eligible for.
Wow, wonderful. So ladies and gentlemen, I am doing a specific session on scholarships and tuition fee waivers on October 4th. The link to register for that particular discussion is right there. And I'm going to talk to you in detail about the scholarships being offered by all the 5 universities here. I will do my own research before I answer all those questions to you. So you can definitely be there on October 4th, where I'll be talking about the scholarships and the tuition fee waiver. Going to Ellison from Sheffield. Ellison, a couple of quick questions to you. First, do you accept UCAS as an application? That's one. And secondly, you did mention about the scholarships in the initial pitch when you were talking. Can you also take us through your average fee structure for various programs, both lab-based and non-lab-based?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Yes, at the University of Sheffield, we actually only accept undergraduate applications via UCAS. So there is no direct application route for undergraduate study on our website. It is only UCAS. I have seen a few questions on postgraduate, so you can apply postgraduate direct on our website. So that's the UCAS question. And scholarships, yes, just to highlight, we have 50% undergraduate and 25% postgraduate scholarships. At undergraduate level, yes, there is a range of different prices related to each course, and the price depends on obviously if it's lab based, if it's not, etc. And we are finalizing some of our 2021 price list actually, so some of them are just being finalized now, but generally so our arts and humanities courses can range between £16,000 and £19,000, with limited laboratory work involved in those courses. However, reaching over to engineering, we have some fantastic laboratory and technical equipment that students have access to. So therefore, the cost of those courses are between £20,000 and £24,000 for a lot of our engineering programs. It is obviously different to some universities, and again, it's because of the laboratory equipment and research facilities that we do have in place that some students will get access to direct from year one at undergraduate level. So that's something worth noting as well. So that's sort of the range of the costs of our courses.
All right. And there was this very interesting comment that you made in the chat that Sheffield can actually look at waiving of the IELTS.
Yeah, I think a lot of UK universities actually, I'm sure most on the panel actually will offer that to students. So yeah, if undergraduate students, for example, year 12th English, A-level IB, as long as a specific level is reached, and it's a very sort of average. I mean, we accept a 5 and 6 at standard level IB. We would waiver the IELTS requirements, and I think most of the universities would do that. Again, at postgraduate level, because I've seen a few postgraduate questions, potentially we would then ask for an IELTS. The English qualification has to be within 4 years in date at Sheffield. But yes, at undergraduate level, I think most of us would waiver. There would be no need for an IELTS at undergraduate level.
All right, wonderful. So that's round one. Round two, I want you guys to be prepared to answer. So I'm telling you the question. The question is same for everybody. The question is, I understand all 5 of you provide high quality research-based education, but I also want to know if I want to send my child to UK and Ireland, what kind of opportunity my child can have if they want to step outside of UK and Ireland. Do you have international collaborations? Do you have student exchange programs? And what is the kind of student experience at your campus? So do you have clubs to offer? Can a child start his or her own club if the child has that leadership ability and the inclination to start? So starting with Jeremy out there. Jeremy, you being a prof, I understand you are used to answering all the intellectually driven questions, right? But considering that there are kids also listening to you right now, if a kid would come to UCD and to a university which is as old as 160 years, can a kid expect some life apart from studying? Is there a life apart from studying, or is it only study? Jeremy, over to you.
No, absolutely. This is such an important question to answer. And the way I look at it is, when a young person, when a student comes to university, it's actually not just about the education. That only really forms one part of the whole experience, if you like. And why this is important is that what we see in UCD is that students who come to us, particularly for an undergraduate degree, they make probably the widest set of new friends that they will ever experience at any point in their lives. They will never be exposed, for example, to so many different cultures. They'll never be exposed to so many different students from other nationalities. So what I mean by that is, for example, in UCD, our students come from about 140 different countries. And so you can imagine that if you're going into a hall of residence and you're getting settled, actually your neighbors could be not only just from India, your neighbors could be from the United States, they could be from Malaysia, they could be from Australia, really every corner of the planet. So I think that cultural diversity that you have in a large university is actually really formative and really forms a critical part of the experience for young people. And then, of course, in addition to that, you've got what we call the campus experience. And as I mentioned, again, in my opening remarks, we're very lucky in UCD to have a 350-acre, very green campus in the south part of Dublin. So actually, as soon as the student sets foot outside of their hostel, they can access the UCD facilities. So be that the sports facilities or something like some of the more cultural activities, joining things like the Indian Student Society, Debating Society, all of those opportunities are there too. And again, this is why I say the university experience is not just about education. It's not just about learning a load of facts and figures. It's about making new friends. It's about learning about other cultures and really opening your eyes to what the world has to offer. I mean, I've been very lucky in my career. I've worked in 4 different countries through my own career. And I would say that actually what's been most formative for me is actually not been the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of all of the things that I've learned in those different places, but actually the breadth of people that I've been exposed to over the years. And I think that's the thing that can really be life-changing and open up your eyes and your minds to all of the possibilities that the world has to offer. And actually, at the end of the day, that is what the university experience is about. It's not about sitting in the corner of your room, learning facts and figures. It's about actually learning what the world has to offer.
Wow. Surbhi, before we go to Nilanjana, so Nilanjana, you'll be next. Surbhi, you set up, UCD had set up this global center in India about 6 years ago, right? what was the intention of setting it up, and what is the kind of student support a student or a parent can expect from the Global Center in India?
So Abhishek, this is one of the most important, I think, project which university has taken up. So we have global centers across the world, depending upon where our students are coming from. And one such global center is in India, which is based out of Gurgaon. And one of the most important reason was to facilitate students, parents, and counselors and all the stakeholders. 6 years back when we started, we had connections in India from years. However, this is one center which started 6 years back, and we have seen growth since then. We had about 200 students joining us when we were 6 years back when we started this, and last year we had about 850 students on campus throughout our different programs, right from undergraduate to postgraduate students. It becomes we are the first point of contact for the students, and any issues in India or anything related to their applications till the time they reach over there. This is the global center. It's an extended center which university helps students in terms of parents connecting with us. So I think it's been one of the most important step which university has taken, and we have seen tremendous growth since then.
So ladies and gentlemen, these are the 5 universities. I am a big fan of these universities, and that's the only reason I've brought them all together on one panel. And it is very, very important for all of you to go out there, research their websites, fill up the form that is there in the chat so that you can seek out the relevant information you are looking to seek out from each one of them. And then we will put you through a small closed group interaction where each one of them can speak and talk to you individually and answer your queries. Nilanjana, I'm a big fan of UCD. I'm a big fan of TCD, right? For me, it's very, very difficult to choose. So let's make it simple for the students. Jerry has been able to tell the kind of student experience which a student can expect at UCD. They have one of the largest campuses in Europe. Olympic-sized swimming pool is something which is still ringing in my ears when it was told in the initial part of the pitch. What is the kind of student experience can one expect at Trinity College Dublin? That's the question number 1. And my question number 2 is, are there any student exchange programs? So if I come to Trinity, is there a possibility that if I want a further international exposure, I can look up at doing a semester or a year somewhere else? Over to you, Nilanjana.
Sure, thank you, Abhishek. So I would start by saying that we have our 4-year degree programs, and the vision behind that is that the first 2 years do not contribute to the final bachelor degree mark. The first 2 years are all about assisting the students and supporting the students to expand their horizons, to network, to make friends for life. And then the year 3rd is all about the learning outcomes, whereas year 4 is very firmly fixed on the career outcomes. That is the general academic structure which reflects our vision for our students. So education at Trinity anyways is an equal blend of academic rigor and a transformative student experience. And that is through our over 170 clubs and societies, which include 2 of the world's oldest student societies. One is the HIST for history, and the other is the Phil for philosophy, which is also the oldest debating society in the world. Now, I'll just give you a fun fact. So I'm sure most of you, if not all, have definitely watched the Game of Thrones. Now, did you know that the writers of that show, one is David Benioff and the other is D.B. Weiss, they met at Trinity. They were studying different master's programs, but they met through one of our societies. So that is a good example which will help you understand what you can expect out of a Trinity education. So there is definitely, I would think that we strive to give them a balance of the best of campus experience. Now, coming back to the collaborations, I've already talked briefly about it in my presentation that we have over 300 collaborations with top universities across the world, and students can choose to do either a semester or the full 3rd year at one of our partner universities. And this is indeed very encouraged at Trinity. And that is why we have those partnerships so that students can get their pick, whether they want to be in the US, they want to experience a different continent, a different country, or they can choose to be within Europe, in Asia, they can come to Canada, Australia, any part of the world, and they can get a range of universities to choose from in a particular country. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Indeed. Vatsal, I understand that Essex is one of the affordable universities. I also understand that you are focusing on lot of futuristic programs as well. But one important fact that I want you to clarify here is, in India, a lot of students are looking at studying computer science, especially the data science, right?
Yeah.
Do you require mathematics in grade 11 and 12 to study data science at Essex? That's question number one. And question number two, again, is the student experience at Essex.
Sure. With Essex, what we have done is that we have recognized the importance of mathematics definitely. And however, we have also kind of understood that there are students who may not necessarily be excellent at every aspect of mathematics. And therefore, we have not made it mandatory for students to have mathematics in class 12 in all of our data science programs. In some of the engineering programs, yes, it is mandatory. But in a lot of the data science programs, let's say in economics and data science, etc., we would not require a student to have mathematics compulsorily in class 12. What we would definitely provide a student with is help and support in understanding the basics in the first year so that the student catches up. And we would definitely expect a student to have a certain aptitude for mathematics. So I think students today are very smart. They know who they are. They know what they like to study and what they're capable of studying. So if a student feels that they are not good at mathematics and they do not like mathematics at all, irrespective of having studied it in class 11th and 12th, if you do not like it, if you're not good at it, then please do not study it further. It's as simple as that. Maybe you were in a situation or a circumstance where you did not have an option to take up mathematics in class 11th and 12th, which is why you had to let go. But you still have the aptitude for it. You like that subject. You've done well in it. Then we will make room for students. It's more about recognizing that talent and that capability in a student. Talking about the second question in terms of student experiences. So definitely, yes, being an international university with almost 40% of our student population being international, you will have students coming in from various different countries. We have, what we offer is something called a sandwich year option as well as a part of your undergrad degree, which means that the student has an option of studying abroad after the first 2 years. So that 1 year, which is their third year, they can spend completely abroad at one of our partner universities, maybe US, maybe France, Germany, or even back in India if they want to come back home for a year if the parents miss them a lot. So they will definitely have that flexibility. And in terms of the exposure, I was answering a student's question about sports. So, cricket, and of course, we're all avid cricket fans here, hopefully. And I see Jez turning on his video. So Essex has quite a good county as in cricket. And if you follow county cricket, then you would see that they've been doing decently well by reaching the finals. And our cricket team is quite tough to get into. There are trials held. And apart from that, there are quite a number of other sporting facilities available. We have a champion team in volleyball and basketball. And like you mentioned, yes, if there is a leader amongst the students and if they feel that they do not find a society or a club of their choice, they can always create it. Our recent or the latest addition was the Harry Potter Society as well, and Quidditch sports team as well. So we have everything available, with students running around on broomsticks to knocking in the nets at the leather ball. So yes, the student experience is extremely one to live for.
Super wonderful. Going to Devesh, University of Bristol. Devesh, quick answer. Again, about the student experience, that's very, very important. What is the kind of student experience one can expect? Mm-hmm. Because majorly, what I'm aware is UK does not offer that kind of a, campus where, especially if you're in the city, you would not have the luxury of having a lavish campus. But UK is still very, very holistic. And ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a very, very good fact. Over the years, UK and Ireland have become great destinations for undergrad education. So for all those of you who are still exploring whether it is US or UK or Ireland, take my advice. Thinking about UK and Ireland in today's time makes a far better sense than just thinking about US. So you really need to think about UK and Ireland as a great destination to study. University of Bristol, student experience, Devesh.
I think what really matters for the experience is also a lot of things in combination. Now, one of the key things that we do is that we appoint a personal tutor to every student, especially at the undergraduate levels. They have to meet their tutor once a week. Now, this one tutor that they have, they can share any concerns they're having with them. And for example, if they're not understanding the class, if they're not understanding the accent of the faculty who's teaching them, extra classes are appointed for those students free of cost because they've already paid for it in the fees. So that's one of the things that we look at in terms of students, in terms of their academics. Towards their careers, we go ahead and look at a lot of other things. Like I mentioned earlier, we have industry mentorship available, wherein every student in engineering, social sciences, and law, as well as in biomedical sciences, is appointed an industry mentor who's a working professional. And that person is appointed to the students so that they can go and spend time with them in the industry, get to know what the industry is, get a feeler of it alongside their studies. So that by the time they graduate, they have a much better idea of what they want to do, what kind of career they want to get into, and we are there to support them as well. Now, we are a research-based university, so research is included into all the curriculum of the students. Anything that we have academicians who are publishing papers regularly. Whatever is published within a week of its publication, the students are taught that in the class. So they are so forward-thinking that when they sit down for a employment interview in the future, they will be talking about things that are not even launched in the market. And it could be that they have the knowledge of it, but they've also been part of creating that technology as well. So that's the kind of exposure. Now, research also does not only impact them in terms of outward thinking or industry integration. We also think about our students. When we look at the psychology of the students, we say that when there is examination time, students can get a bit stressed and a bit anxious, especially when they're away from home. So what we do for them is that we create a puppy room wherein we get a lot of puppies to come in, and students can book a slot and go play with them. And as part of research, we've seen that it brings down their stress level and anxiety level. And then they're much more focused on studying and giving their exams. So all of this is done in a way that it looks after the student. And it's for the parents to realize that when a university is accepting the student to come into the university, we become their sponsors. So we are looking after their holistic approach. And also their well-being and health is our concern then. So we take the responsibility. So you need to be rest assured that we will look after them very well. And me, including all my other panelists, we all do look after them as well.
And the way each one of you is talking about, it's like, an Indian student will never miss an Indian around, because either which ways you have loads of them on your campus, right? So there is, the family is, extended family is right there. Going to Alison, Sheffield, been there, really green, really beautiful. So let me twist the question a little bit for you. What is it like living in Sheffield, not just as at the University of Sheffield?
Hi, yes, so as you've mentioned, it is a very green city, actually. So I don't want to dispel that it's in the middle of the countryside. We are the fourth largest city in the UK, but what that means is the city boundary actually extends over a large area, and we have got a lot of green open space. So that's probably one of the unique things about studying at Sheffield, is the amount of green space and open parks that we have available in the city. So a lot, we're sort of renowned for students that want that outdoor experience. They particularly probably would come to Sheffield for that outdoor experience. So I live on the outskirts of Sheffield. Obviously I'm biased, but I think it's a great city. You have the city centre, obviously, so you have the hustle and bustle of a city as you would do in the UK, but very quickly you can be in the Peak District National Park, where you can do outdoor activities such as mountain climbing, mountain biking. I personally also row on one of the many rivers around the city. So there's lots lots to do that will help your mental well-being, which is also very important in the UK at the moment, especially in the current climate. So we are actively pushing students to do a lot more outdoor activities. So yeah, there's a lot of things to do regarding sports at Sheffield. If we have got it, I mean, we've got some fantastic cricket legends from Yorkshire, but also the City of Sheffield, we've recently very proud to have a Premiership football team as well. So any football fans, that is walking distance from the campus. So again, there are lots for students to do. Not just obviously in their academic time at Sheffield, but also in their social activities as well. So I think one of the main things, I feel as though it's got a mix of both at Sheffield, the city centre, but also the countryside aspect as well.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are still holding on to almost 300. This is almost 100 minutes into the show. 300 in the Zoom room. At the peak, we touched about 2,900 on the Facebook. We are still holding on to about 1,700 odd on the Facebook. So it's still about 2,000 people listening to you. Round number 3, which is the last round, and you have 2 minutes each to tell me what is the kind of student you are looking at. If you want to specify in black and white that this is the kind of student you are looking at, any specific admissions requirements which the child should be aware of, and any other important details about your university. And because we have a faculty here, and every time I'm going to start with him, because I have something against the professors. They never took me seriously in my classes. So Jeremy, I have something against you, but no, just kidding. Okay, so any important pointers, Jeremy, that you really want to give, because I really respect the phenomenal track record you bring on the table in this discussion as a professor, as a faculty, and we can't respect you enough. As a faculty who is also heading the international student recruitment, you are balancing 2 jobs at the same time. What are those important factors that one needs to keep in mind before applying to UCD?
Okay. Oh, I feel very bad that you've had a negative experience with professors in the past, Abhishek. I'm gonna, let's see if we can set that wrong to a right in that case. So as you've said, look, one of the reasons why I love doing my VP International job is that actually it allows me, to meet so many students and to meet their families, and actually that's really important for me, because ultimately if those students, go on and choose a science program in UCD, I'm going to be stood in front of those students. I'm going to be the one with responsibility for looking after them and ultimately for teaching them and sharing my information with them. And that's why I actually love doing the 2 jobs. So doing my day job as a scientist and a teacher, but actually my moonlighting job as involved in international student recruitment for UCD. And I've been doing these 2 jobs together for 8 years now. So I like to think I've got a really unique perspective in terms of what the student is looking for and ultimately where the student goes on. So what are we looking for? Well, I think we're looking for hardworking students. That's the first thing to say. And I think all the universities here in the Zoom room today would say the same thing. We're also looking for students who have got vision and ambition. And what I mean by that again is that, the world is now a remarkably small place, and there are so many exciting opportunities out there. There are so many areas where different strands are now interconnected. And so in a way, we're also looking for students who are open-minded, so who are prepared to go outside of their comfort zone, to take on new challenges, to learn new things, even though right now they might not think, oh, I'm particularly comfortable with doing X or Y. I think actually this is going to be a really exciting next generation of young people that are going out in society to be problem solvers, as I've talked about so far. We're looking for rounded students as well. And again, I've already referred to this. We're not looking just for students who are great at sitting in the corner of their room, just studying and just reading books and things. We're looking for students who can, again, open their minds and can engage in lots of different activities as well. We don't expect that every student is going to be great on the cricket pitch or great on the hockey pitch, but what we're looking for is students who are prepared to do more things than just come and study with us. And actually, again, this is also part of the university experience. I can't stress this enough. So for all the mums and dads and parents out there who are thinking about this really important decision about where do I send my son or daughter, don't please just think purely about the academics and the education. Think about the wider experience that a university has to offer. I've said it before, I say it again. Never will there be an opportunity where your son or daughter has so much opportunity to meet so many different people, so many different cultures, and experience so many different things. So open-minded, ambitious, hardworking students, that's who we're looking for in UCD.
Thank you, Jeremy. Nilanjana, what is the typical eligibility requirement at Trinity College Dublin? And is there any specific things that you are looking at in terms of students, apart from what Jeremy mentioned in terms of open-mindedness, a holistic approach, not just a person who is into books, but somebody who has wider interests, maybe a cause associated to his or her heart? What do you look at?
Definitely, like I have already mentioned, that when students choose, irrespective of which destination they may be choosing, whenever they are looking at going overseas, I think if they have made that decision, they have prepared themselves to step outside of their comfort zone. So for Trinity, what I would say is that students, we expect them to do as much research as possible about Trinity in general, as well as the program in particular. This should reflect in their personal statement. And our prospectus is very comprehensive, which provides full details of the academic structure, as well as dedicated section about the career opportunities and graduate skills that each program offers. So we would be expecting that students will be making an informed decision. And because of that particular section about the graduate skills, they will be able to decide whether or not those are the kind of both the learning outcomes and career outcomes that they are signing up for. And our general entry requirements are a minimum of 80% aggregate, as long as it is CBSE. For IB, overall points required range between 32 to 37, depending on the program. But irrespective of the program, we do require that they should have 3 subjects at HL with grade 5 and 3 subjects at SL with grade 4. Additionally, programs like science, computer science, engineering, and business have subject-specific requirements. So maths in class 12 with minimum of 75% is mandatory for admission to our engineering and computer science programs. For our science programs, we require 2 subjects, which could be out of physics, chemistry, biology, or maths. Any 2 out of these with a minimum of 75% in each. For business-related programs, if a student has maths in class 12, then we require 75%. But if a student does not have maths in class 12, he or she can still be eligible if they have minimum of 80% in maths in class 10th. So I would also say that whether it is Tangent at Trinity, whether it is Launchbox, whether it is Connect, Adapt, the E3, all of the things that I have talked about, as well as the students' clubs or societies, Trinity is definitely committed to helping our students to become more inquisitive, more pioneering, and collaborative. So we are a university, we have an incredible past, and we have a very exciting future as well, so that we can shape our students, and our students can in turn shape the world. So while we are discussing about the pandemic, I would also like to mention that, see, the careers are not going to change. The way we do things is probably going to change. So what we at Trinity are going to do is to enable our students to gain the confidence to take measured risks and also to deal effectively with ambiguity. At Trinity, we do this by supporting our students to develop the ability to think independently as well as creatively, to act responsibly, communicate effectively, and to develop continuously, to adapt to changes. And our career services, which is an award-winning service, it conducts over 200 workshops across the year to support the students with their career planning. So in the end, I would go to the extent of saying that as long as the students are proactive enough to avail all of these support systems which are at hand, which all the good universities will have, the students will be equipped to deal with any changes or challenges that the pandemic or any other change in the future brings. Those would be my closing remarks.
Thank you, Nilanjana. Vatsal, over to you. Eligibility requirements, anything specific required for any particular course which you would really want to highlight? And what are you looking at in terms of the students?
Right. So just to take you through, our entry criteria or perhaps the application process, very quickly, just that Essex offers applications both directly and via UCAS. So feel free to apply via either of the two platforms. Be mindful of the deadlines. In terms of the entry requirements, we are looking for, from CBSE and ISE boards, we're looking at between 75 and 80% of best 4 subjects. And for IB, we're looking at anything above 28 to 30 IB points. And A levels, we're looking at about a BB or a BBC as well. And this is general. I don't expect all the attendees to remember this. There is a reason why we are here in India, because you can connect with us. So feel free to reach out to us, and certain courses might have slightly higher or slightly lower entry requirements as well. We are also looking at your personal statement, and I think that's very important. That's something that as someone who has also worked with school students quite a bit, I understand that personal statement is very important. So if you need if you feel the need that your personal statement is not up to the mark, make sure you ask your parents and your counselors, and perhaps us to kind of go through it as well. As a university, Essex is looking for students who have passion, and it's something which is very simple, but I think it's a very complicated word as well, because passion can be shown via various ways. We can have a passionate student who is completely quiet, sitting in the corner studying his or her books all throughout the day, or we have someone who can be extremely passionate but is all over the place doing multiple activities, etc. And as long as they're passionate, there will always be an initiative from the student side, and they will always be hardworking. And therefore, they will fit the bill, and they will be able to survive in the ecosystem of an international university. At Essex, we are looking for students who are ready to innovate, challenge, take on the world. We actually go on to say that if you feel that you need to be spoon-fed a degree, Essex is not for you. So if you are looking to change the world and be out there and willing to take risks, then welcome home to Essex.
All right, wonderful. Devesh, same thing. University of Bristol, eligibility criteria, anything specific that the candidates need to know that you would like to share?
Thank you, Abhishek, and it's been put very beautifully by my fellow panelists. So they've covered everything already about what we're looking for in a student. On a similar line, we're looking for similar students as well. The key thing, what I would talk about is, now that you've covered what kind of students, I'll talk about what the students should be careful of when they're applying to a UK university or to an Irish university. Key thing would be timelines. So when you're making an application to us, you are applying through a system called UCAS. And it's a one application that goes to 5 UK universities. So your personal statement that you mentioned there, it becomes very important for you. The same statement is going to be read by those 5 universities. So what you have to write in that is what we're looking for is, of course, your passion for the subject. What has got you interested into it? What activities have you done to support your interest towards that, the passion that you have? And more importantly, what skills have you picked up as part of it? An example I will give you is like a student applied for a medicine program. And very randomly, he said that I'm very fond of baking as well. But how he connected that to his medicine is that when he bakes a cake, he also does the decoration of the cake. And with the precision that he does, the icing on the cake is the same precision he will use to hold the scalpel when he's dissecting a human. So, anything that you link to your subject area and how your skills are going to impact your subject is what we're looking for in a candidate as well. Within UK, 80% of your application will be based on your academics. So definitely academics are very important. Whenever you're applying, it is a very big investment you're making. You're making not just a monetary investment, but also your time. These 3 or 4 years that you're going to spend are going to be the defining years for your career, as well as for your future. So definitely make a wise choice. Choose a university that you feel you have a lot in common with. With regards to coming to the university, we will take very good care of you. The universities are all prepared. We've been doing this for decades and decades. So we will enable a lot of support for the students, but you have to see what is right for you. Look at the course content, see whether you will enjoy that content. As an international student, if you want a career in the UK, definitely see the industry integration of a program. What is the kind of industry integration the course can provide you? Because the more time you spend with an employer, only then you will have the chance of getting into a work visa or into an eventual immigration into the country. So all of this becomes very important. So select your university adequately, but also match it to your academic goals to see whether you will be able to keep up the pace. And any help that you need, there's a lot of support available at the university. So don't be shy to reach out to get that support as well.
Wow.
So what I had to say.
So beautifully put. And ladies and gentlemen, it's all about finding the right fitment of yourself with the university, whether you are fitting into the university and whether the university is the place which can provide you that kind of an experience that you're looking at. So find the right fit university. Just for your information, before we take Alison for her closing remarks, 200 students have actually filled up the form and asked information from specific universities. We will be sharing this information with all of you so that you can reach out to your respective or your prospective students. And I would request to all of you that at High School Moms, we'll try and arrange a closed group interaction where the students who are interested in your university can speak to you directly on a closer group format. This has been a phenomenal day. Even now, we are holding on to almost 250 in the Zoom room and about 1,300 on the Facebook. So this is going really, really phenomenal. And it just shows that how much of interest people are having in UK and Ireland as a destination to study. Alison, over to you for your closing remarks, please.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot has been said by the panelists. I just want to mirror again and highlight probably the key points of what everybody said, of what we're looking for at Sheffield. Like I say, everybody said some great things, and I want to mirror that. We are looking for obviously bright individuals, but not just, I think it was Jeremy said, head in the books. We're wanting somebody that's going to get the most out of their university experience as well. As he said, there's so much opportunity given to students at all of the universities here on the panel today, and so we are looking for those students that are going to go out and take those opportunities, not just sit in the library with their head in the books. And we're all looking for that next Nobel Prize winner. The universities want to be the ones to be able to shout out about, oh, they graduated from the University of Sheffield, they're an alumni of the University of Sheffield, for example. We are all wanting that next great entrepreneur, that next great person that's found a cure for COVID-19. We always want those students to have graduated from our universities, and we want to be able to shout about those in the future as well. And those students are the ones that are go-getters. I think it was Vassal said, you know, we're not wanting some, you know, if you're wanting to be spoon-fed, maybe education actually in the UK is not right for you, because we do actively encourage critical thinking, group work, independent working as well. So yeah, we're looking for those bright individuals, go-getters, students with something about them. That's what we're looking for. And again, just to mirror what Devesh said, when you're writing your personal statements, again, link your skills. We want to know about your academia for the most part of the application on the personal statement, but then link your personal interests to the skills that they will give you to succeed in your career. And so I think that's very important as well. But I think one thing to note is all the universities offer great facilities, great courses, and I think another thing to look at is also the city where the university is. What's the city like? Do you want a campus-based institution or a city-based institution? All those sorts of things can should also influence your decision. So are you wanting that huge big city with that massive city atmosphere like Mumbai, for example, or are you wanting maybe more of a quieter city? So I think also looking at the city and the surrounding area of where the university is located is also very good to make that decision on where the student might want to study. So yeah, I think, like I say, a lot of it was said, so I just want to mirror that. And the UK generally, and Ireland, yes, is a very good choice for students with the opportunities that we have available. And I don't think that your sons and daughters will be disappointed with any of their choices.
Who gets disappointed living in UK for 3 to 4 years, man? And or in Ireland for that matter. I mean,
exactly.
I can rest assure them. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, High School Moms is not backed by any big educational company or a corporate. It's a group of 17,000 mothers reaching out to almost 2.5 lakh parents every year. And these are our 5 recommended universities: University College Dublin, Trinity College Dublin, University of Essex, University of Bristol, and University of Sheffield. These are our 5 recommended universities. You should definitely look out, search more information, and you should go out there and fill up the form so that we can arrange a small group discussion with the university rep, and you can ask all your questions and they will be answered. With this, I'll call it a day. Thank you so very much, Jeremy Simpson, Surbhi Joshi, Nilanjana Shen, Vatsal Chandra, Devesh Anand, and Elisa Vidam for joining us at High School Moms. It was lovely having you all. And ladies and gentlemen, once for last time in the chat, just give me a big YAY or a big thank you. Thank you to all these people who have joined from their respective destinations, utilizing their weekend so that they can empower and educate every mother, every father in this country. And for all those of you who have written that even dads are decision makers, my one last signing statement: motherhood has no gender. So when we call High School Moms, it even includes dad. Motherhood has no gender. Keep supporting High School Moms. Follow us on Facebook. Go out there. If you are a mom, you can even subscribe to our Facebook group. And we will next time bring a set of another great universities to talk to you all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everybody on the panel.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
One quick thing. Let's have a group photograph.
Thank you.
Okay.
In your best, otherwise everybody was talking. So just look into the cameras. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. You can safely log off. Thank you.
Thank you.